because you and I are completely different travelers, wouldn't you say?
I would.
Okay. So, I mean, we'll back up. She had no idea what a Disney nerd. I've always had the Burnborn books. I had the Disney figurines, which I showcased, and you thought that was a little weird for a grown man to have Disney figurines.
I did.
I've got a lot of Disney Donald Duck plush stuffed animals, but she just never knew what a dork I was until it came time for our honeymoon. And where did I want to go?
Disney World.
Welcome, travelers, to Elevated Escapes, a luxury travel podcast hosted by Mike and Kristen Their, a husband and wife team who approach adventures from different perspectives. Mike is all about world-class golf and the best that Disney has to offer, while Kristen's seeking wellness retreats and rich historical and cultural experiences. Together, they're big on high-end cruises, unforgettable destinations, and discovering incredible culinary moments. Join them as they explore the world, one elevated escape at a time. Now, your hosts.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Elevated Escapes podcast, being recorded in sunny Sarasota, Florida. I'm your host, Mike, joined by my wife and co-host, Kristen.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
For those of you listening to episode 1, you probably found us via the Addicted to DVC podcast or the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast, 2 podcasts that I do with my cousin up in Rhode Island. But this is going to be a travel podcast. Basically, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about trips that we've taken. We're going to talk about trips that we want to take. We want this to be interactive. So if you have questions or trips that you're thinking about, we're happy to, kind of work through those with you and offer our ideas and thoughts.
Yeah, we'll just do a quick introduction. The first episode is always the most miserable one because you don't really have an agenda to follow. It's not like we're talking about our top 5 Ritz-Carlton resorts that we've stayed at or haven't stayed at or want to stay at. But just as a brief introduction, we're a husband and wife travel agent team. I'm doing this full time. I kind of messed around, did friends and family because I did a Disney podcast. I used to have people always reaching out to me, asking me for advice or to help them put together a travel plan for Disney. So I decided, why not make a few bucks doing this? Disney and all other travel companies pay a commission, so you don't pay any additional fees for working with Kristen and I. It's paid directly by the vendor. They're either going to pay me or they're going to pay their Disney travel agents behind the scenes themselves. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to talk a little bit about our journey in travel. Since we've been together, we've taken trips kind of all over the country. We were fortunate enough to live in the Midwest for a while, so we would do trips to Chicago and St. Louis, and Kansas City, and with Dallas and Oklahoma City. And then our honeymoon, we traveled the West Coast, so we did Vancouver, Seattle, Santa Barbara, LA, San Diego. And we've had the chance to stay in some really great places. We've had some pretty cool experiences. And that kind of brought us to thinking about doing, more travel as we get older and our resources have expanded. But Mike really never had much of an interest in overseas travel until a couple of years ago.
I never had any interest in leaving the state of Florida until actually a couple years ago. I'll kind of talk about where I got the travel bug. I used to take, we came down 4 or 5 times to Disney, and I've just always been a Disney guy. I like the warm weather. I like the resorts. I like the food. And we'll get into some of those things on future podcasts, but I've just always loved Florida. We used to do split stays because my dad hated Disney. So we would go to Disney and then we would go to St. Augustine or down to Hollywood, Miami Beach. And then as I got older, I didn't travel much with them. They wanted to do a California trip. And the last minute they asked me, do you want to come with us? And I said, Yeah, I want to go to San Diego, but can we do LA? Because I was young. The OJ Simpson trial was going on, and I just had to see Los Angeles. So we flew into LAX, spent a few days in LA, Marina Del Rey, and I just love that vibe. And that's when I'm like, ah, man, I got to travel more because I love SoCal, still do to this day.
And I had a little bit of a different experience. Mike's an only child. I'm the oldest of four. And so our trips tended to be, where we could get within, about 5 hours. So we spent a lot of time in New Hampshire. We spent a lot of time with friends and family in Pennsylvania. We did do Disney a couple of times, but I mean, one trip is the only time I remember all of my family being on a plane together. I was 13. So my travel bug really came through reading. I've been a big reader my whole life, and I was raised by the daughter of a daughter of an English woman. So my grandparents came from the UK and had relatives back there, and they sent a lot of books back for my mom that then got passed down to me. So reading, Beatrix Potter and
Who?
the Lakes District, Tale of Peter Rabbit, kids books.
Okay. I know Peter Rabbit. I thought you said something about Harry Potter.
No, Beatrix Potter is the author of Peter Rabbit.
Yep. You can tell you're the reader and I'm not.
Yeah. But just, different things around London and different spots always made me want to see the actual places, Paddington Bear, things like that. And then as I got older, I read more broadly in Paris and Australia. And so I've always kind of wanted to go everywhere.
Do you remember what was on his tag? Paddington Bear's tag?
Not off the top of my head.
Very simple. It said, please look after this beer, comma, thank you. I had a Paddington beer when I was a kid. Didn't read any of the stories, but I had a Paddington Jasper beer.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I came to my wanderlust.
You want to talk about our niches?
Sure. You may have heard in the intro, I am, because of my reading, very into culture and history. Wellness is also something that's very important to me. I like to, take time to relax when we're on vacation. Often we have very active itineraries planned and we kind of go. And I like to take a day where, I can go to the spa or we can stay by the pool and, just get a little bit of a mental reset. And you?
I'm a Disney guy. I'll focus on Disney, luxury golf packages, obviously cruising, as well as all-inclusives.
And the thing that we really always kind of come to together are the culinary experiences. We put a lot of thought into where we want to eat when we're going different places.
We're both wannabe foodies. I call myself a wannabe foodie. I like good food. I just don't. There's certain things that I don't like. I don't like caviar. I don't like frogwa. So that's why I say I'm a wannabe foodie and not a full-fledged foodie. But you and I both like nice restaurants, don't you? Don't we?
Right. But I also think that, while this is a luxury podcast, you can get amazing meals without spending a ton of money. When I think about the markets in Sicily and just the variety of food and the things that you might not experience elsewhere, which kind of goes into my cultural niche. But, something can be a luxurious experience and not have to break the bank.
That is true. We wanted to talk a little bit kind of like how we sacrifice when we go on trips. Because we are
compromise, you mean?
What did I say? Sacrifice? Yeah. Compromise. Because you and I are completely different travelers, wouldn't you say?
I would.
Okay. So, we'll back up. She had no idea what a Disney nerd. I've always had the Burnborn books. I had the Disney figurines, which I showcased, and you thought that was a little weird for a grown man to have Disney figurines.
I did.
I've got a lot of Disney Donald Duck plush stuffed animals, but she just never knew what a dork I was until it came time for our honeymoon. And where did I want to go?
Disney World.
Not California.
Right. Florida.
Orlando. And you said, well, how about if we go to a place that neither of us have been to before?
Right.
And I said, okay, fine. And that's when you decided we're going to do a West Coast.
Yeah, because we had done San Francisco together.
We did Monterey.
And you had been to San Diego and LA, but I hadn't. But we hadn't been to Vancouver. We hadn't been to Seattle. So,
Yeah.
And I had to talk you into Vancouver.
You had to talk me into Vancouver because there's no sporting events going on in Vancouver. Seattle, I was fine with. And it just so happened that at the time, my beloved Red Sox were in town for a 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners.
We are native New Englanders.
Native New Englanders, Rhode Islanders. So I am a big Boston Red Sox fan. I've kind of haven't paid attention over the past couple of years because when you live in Florida, there's other things to do than watch TV. You can go to Disney or play golf or hang out by the pool. But I absolutely love Vancouver. I love Seattle, especially where we stayed. We stayed downtown at the Inn at the Market. So that famous market where they throw the fishes.
Pike's
Place. That was right across the street from our hotel. Like I said, we went to 1 or 2 of the Red Sox Mariners games. I toured what was called at the time Safeco Field. You wanted nothing to do with that. And what'd you do? Just hang back?
Yeah, I went shopping. I poked around some of the stalls at the market that he wouldn't have had any interest in, more of the antique-y kind of stuff and bookstores. It was great.
And then you found a deal. What do they call that? Female math? Is that what it's called?
Sure.
Female math at the lodge at Torrey Pines. And when I specifically said, how much does this cost? And you said, don't worry about it.
That's true.
Because what'd you get? Buy 2, get 1 free?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we stayed, it was right at Torrey Pines. And it was literally a couple weeks after they played that iconic U.S. Open, the one where Tiger Woods won in a Monday playoff over Rocco Mediate, if you remember that one. They still had the stand set up. Every night we'd walk around once the golfers came in and the sun was set, and then we'd just walk around the cliffs at Torrey Pines, and it was just absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
It was stunning. And the hotel's phenomenal.
Hotel's phenomenal. Being the foodie I am, every single night, do you remember what I ordered in for room service? Steak and fries. Nice little New York strip and French fries.
But that, those are the places where we'll compromise. I was like, okay, I want to stay in a nice hotel. It's not a place Mike would normally want to stay, but it has the golf tie-in. So I was able to kind of convince him it was a good idea. But do you remember what you did?
No.
Do you remember lugging your golf clubs around the whole trip and you never ended up playing?
Yeah, I brought the clubs and I talked to the starter and he basically said if I wanted to get in as a single, I had to be there at 6 a.m. And I said, well, I'm literally 2 minutes away. I don't want to have to sit here for hours if I'm not going to go out. I said, is there any way you can call me? He said, nope, because if we have a threesome that shows up at 7:30, you have to be in that group right at 7:30, not at 7:35, not at 7:40. So I said, I don't know and I asked him what the chances were. He said, it's pretty good, but I can't promise you that will get you out. So I decided to stay back. Looking back, I kind of wish I played because, it's Torrey Pines.
And I was fully on board. I was actually kind of bummed that you didn't play.
Yeah, because, as you're going to figure out listening to this podcast, you would have rather had me play and you could have taken the car and had 4 hours to yourself and just
gone shopping in La Jolla or something.
Go shopping where?
In La Jolla. But it was a great trip.
It was a good trip.
And we compromise as well. We did go to Disneyland.
We did go to Disneyland for the day or for a couple hours because we had an earthquake. I forget which one that was. Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
It might have been the Chino Hills.
That sounds right.
Does that sound right? It was
July of 2008.
July of 2008. I think it was the Chino Hills. We're going to have our fact checkers. We do. We have one person on YouTube that's following us. We've got 3 people in one of our Facebook groups that are following us. And
yes, Chino Hills.
Chino Hills. I'm such a nerd.
We're nerds in our own ways.
We are nerds, definitely in our own ways. Yes, I'm a geography nerd, and I remember certain weather events, lots of weather events.
I remember things that really have no value to most people, but makes me good at Jeopardy.
What else did we want to touch on in this first episode? Want to talk about what topics we want to cover?
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I think we want to do, a little bit of everything. We want to do trip reviews. We want to do, things that you guys are interested in hearing about. If there's a trip that you're trying to plan and you want our take on it, we're happy to do that. I think we want to kind of point out, especially when it comes to cruises, how sometimes the more expensive lines that you think might be out of your reach can actually be, more reasonable than you think once you factor in all of the drink packages and the add-ons on some of the other, lower priced lines. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of the lines they do nickel and dime, and we've been looking at a Silver Sea, a Cunard, and a few others that are all inclusive, and they're not outrageously priced. They're not as bad as you would think, especially what you were saying when you factor in drink packages. I know Silver Sea a lot of times includes excursions.
mhm.
So if you're paying excursions and room service and drinking packages, you name it, it adds up quickly. So
Well, and some of them also include your transportation from the airport to the cruise port. So just little things like that do add up. But we want to bring in, you know, other travelers and experts, in their fields from, different companies.
yeah, I've been going to a lot of lunch and learns recently, so I've been establishing some pretty good relationships with our business development managers. We'd like to get them on the show just to talk about their products and services and how they differ from other cruise lines or other land excursions out there.
And we're obviously coming at this from the perspective of, a married couple. We don't have children, um, but we have traveled with family, with, family members who have young kids. So we're certainly happy to help with that as well. Um, we're fortunate, I guess, in that our younger family members are more than happy to give their opinions on things. So it's not us saying, "Oh, we think kids will really like this." It's no, the kids are telling us they really liked it.
Hmm. Especially me with Disney, I know what the kids like, I know what the tweens like, but I really know what the adults like. So there's a lot of people listening who might be anti-Disney, who are going to get roped into doing a trip with family and younger people, and we'll be able to tell you what to stay clear of and where to frequent because I know Disney like the back of my hand, and my wife, who has been coming with me for years and years now, has really learned the product as well, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, osmosis. And I don't want to come off as a Disney hater. I don't dislike it. I just, you said the other day that you're dying to go back to Riviera, and we were there in December, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of good for right now.
Yeah, one of my favorite resorts. Probably my favorite resort in Orlando. It might be a notch up above the Grand Floridian. It's 1A and 1B, but
Right.
I think one of the things that we're going to talk about, we're definitely going to talk about it next week, and it might last 2 or 3 episodes, but we're going to talk Adventures by Disney. Specifically, we went on a Adventures by Disney Barcelona Escape. And do you just want to get into really quickly what Adventures by Disney is? Kind of like tease for next week.
Sure. So Adventures by Disney is a high-end guided tour company. And they take you, through different areas. You can do a city escape, like Mike just said. They do Barcelona, they do London, but they also will do countries like China and Japan, where it's a broader trip. Maybe 7 to 10 days, some maybe even longer, versus the 3 days that ours was. But it's very high end. You stay in luxury hotels and they take care of absolutely everything for you. So it really is a luxury product um, with the Disney service that, longtime Disney fans have come to expect and really appreciate. So it's kind of the perfect melding of our interests.
Exactly. And I will put, we have, I'll put up our, is it a what's that
QR
code called?
code.
QR code, where you can find my contact information. If you need any help planning your next trip, it's going to be right up there in the corner. I have nothing else to add. Do you?
No, I think we just, this is our first episode. We want you guys to try and, see a little bit about what we're hoping to do and who we are, and hopefully you'll be interested. And if there are things you want to hear about or want to talk about, please reach out to us, and we're always happy to chat.
And I think the other thing we're going to do is some Facebook Lives, or Facebook Live and YouTube Lives. Once we get a little bit of audience, but we'll be talking more specifically about different products, price points, a lot of Q&A. So we'll probably do that on a Friday or a Saturday night. So just follow us on social media. Speaking of, I'll wrap us up. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Travel with Mike and Kristen. All of our social media links will be in the show notes. And join our Facebook group, Travel with Mike and Kristen. For my co-host, Kristen, I'm Mike. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Good night.